Hi guys and welcome back to another video. So the latest War Thunder update gave us the MiG-21bis, which means I can finally do this dogfight. We're going to be facing off against it with the Saab J35 Draken. If the Cold War had gone hot in Northern Europe, this is likely a matchup that would have happened quite a lot, and with the increased engine performance of the MiG-21bis over previous models, the Russians finally have something to stack up against the incredible turning performance of the Draken in terms of an actual dogfight. The Draken was the first delta-wing jet fighter produced in mainland Europe, and it also holds the title of being the first fully supersonic European-made fighter to enter service. Designed purely as an interceptor and air defense fighter, the jet was first outlined in the late 1940s as a rapid step forward in development for the Swedish Air Force, likely spurred by the outbreak, if you want to call it that, of the Cold War. The aircraft was expected to be an effective single-seat, all-weather combat aircraft, which could not only scramble very quickly to intercept transonic bombers and contest hostile fighters in friendly airspace, but also to be operable from public roads and quickly serviceable by crews with minimal training. In order to fulfill these requirements, Saab created the iconic double delta wing design, where the leading edge was swept back at a very high 80-degree angle, while the outer wings have a less radical 60-degree sweep. This allowed for very high speeds and good handling at those speeds without sacrificing low speed control or stability, and allowing for exceptionally long range for an aircraft of this type due to the increased room for a fuel tanks. The design, however, caused the aircraft to handle unexpectedly in a stall, and the Draken proved difficult to land for pilots used to the previous generation fighters like the Saab 32 Lansen. To combat this, the Swedish Air Force placed a huge focus on training its pilots to deal with stalls and low-speed handling, and soon enough the Draken would become the first ever aircraft to perform the very famous Cobra maneuver, which the Swedish called the Kort Parad. The J35D is powered by a single RM6C afterburning turbojet engine, a licence-built model of the British Rolls-Royce Avon, with over 17,500 pounds of thrust on afterburner, and two 30mm cannons make up its primary armament, along with hardpoints for up to 4 RB-24s, Swedish designation for the American AIM-9P Sidewinder air-to-air missile. Adopted into service in March of 1960, the Draken can be considered one of the most capable fighter aircraft in the world for its time, displaying supermaneuverability characteristics that would not be matched until the adoption of the phenomenal MiG-29 Fulcrum. Continually upgraded well into the 1980s, the Draken wasn't replaced in Swedish Air Force service until the late 90s, and finally retired for good by the Austrian Air Force in 2005. Having never seen combat. In the Marge, the Draken will have the best straight turning performance of any jet fighter currently in-game. However, will struggle in low-speed vertical maneuvers due to its penchant for deep stalls, as well as rolling maneuvers which can force the aircraft into unrecoverable flat spins, and this is where the Russian MiGs with their higher thrust to weight will have a significant advantage. This video is brought to you by supporters like you. Thanks for helping me keep the lights on. Okay, so this should be a lot more pleasant than our last fight against the Mirage. About to merge with a MiG-21 here. There he is, looks like we're going for 2 circle. He's going into the vertical, yeah, he's going to switch that around for a 1 circle fight here. And in the Draken, there is a lot I can do against that plane. The only thing I'm really going to struggle to do is hold with his engine power. So that MiG just has so much thrust on us. Where is he? There he is. And here, we are going to have a pretty significant advantage. The only thing I want to be careful for here is stalling out too hard, because the Draken is really difficult to recover from a stall, and we're going to stay above his nose here. And then look at this. This thing puts on the air brakes so well. And now we've really got him. And he's going to have to start pulling some fancy maneuvers here if he wants to do anything. He's flaring out my missile. I'm not even going to bother with the missiles. Here we go. Beautiful, splash 1. Alright, here we go for round 2. There's the Marge, looks like we're going 2 circle here. And here I want to be really careful about managing my energy, because once the Draken gets down in airspeed, That MiG just has so much thrust over me, he's just going to be able to sit behind me and go up and rope-a-dope and do whatever the hell he likes. Yeah, there, he's... As soon as we manage that turn, and you see him, he's just much, much higher. There we go. Now I can sit on his 6. I could have tried to fire there, actually. So yeah, here we're going to go for a much closer quarters dogfight. But this is kind of where the Draken shines. And he is getting a little bit of distance, so I'm going to spool up a missile. We have the RB-24J, which is an AIM-9P3. It has a decent chance of hitting him here. And there goes his flares. I didn't quite have the shot. I would have shot there. I don't want to waste these missiles. Fox 2. Nah. Far too close. One thing the Draken does like to do is when you pull turns too tightly, it likes to overroll. And you see it can actually really struggle just with that airframe design to pull its nose on target without wobbling. I'm going to have to try and stay behind him here, but we are going to be in a full stall when we come out of this maneuver. So this is his chance. And as long as I can pull out of this stall. There we go. There we go. That's much better. And that is the MiG-21's really only advantage it has over the Draken, is that increased engine performance. It just allows it to go into the vertical like that and keep out of those stalls. He's pre-flaring like mad. I'm going to see if I can throw the rudder on. Whoa, almost. And that missile's going to come off. There we go. Just trying to not turn so tightly, keep that speed up. Gonna lock the sun. Fox 2. And I went for the flares. Damn. Here we go. Not quite. I didn't want to risk pulling the rudder there because I would have stalled out my aircraft. We're almost flying formation with the guy here and there. And here we go, Fox 2. Oh, not quite. Once again. One missile left, but I think we've got him here. As long as I don't let him get away. And he's super slow here. Beautiful. So you can kind of see what the Draken likes to do. Once you sit behind someone, it does struggle to maintain energy with them because this whole aircraft is just a big air brake. We're going to go for a one circle vertical here, it looks like. Which the MiG does kind of have an advantage in. But once you're able to sit on their 6, they just have nothing left to throw at you. Okay, so we're in a 2 circle now. And once again, 2 circle means we are transitioning. Holy hell, look at that pull. Transitioning into more of a rate fight. I'm going to have to dodge his shots there. And here we go. And provided I don't let him get in front of me here, I'm going to pull one of these. Oh, very close there. And look at this. This aircraft feels like it has thrust vectoring, dude. It's crazy. I'm being very, very close here. We are getting very low to the ground. I just want to be a little careful. And here, we've got him here. Oh, dude. Splash 1.5, man. That was violent. Okay guys, so once again, as we don't have TAC view for War Thunder yet, we're going to take a look at the replay here. This is our third match. We're just about to merge with DeWinds in the MiG-21bis. And DeWinds is a good pilot, make no mistake. I don't want anyone bullying him in the comments because he lost this one, because this was definitely not a fight that was in his favour. He's actually forced us down with a dive, so we've dived down from that initial turn from the merge. I've gone down, he's gone down, and we're in a one circle fight in the vertical, which is actually going to force me to compress, and was actually a very smart move for DeWinds here, because he is actually end up going to win this initial turn. As you see, he's going to pull onto my 6 there, and he's not going to stay there. He's got no chance of staying there just yet. We've got a little too much speed cashed in, a little too much separation here on these turns for him to be able to remain on my 6 comfortably. But he actually ends up winning the second turn as well, which is quite rare to have happen in the Draken, that you lose those initial turns. But what he did by forcing that dive is forced me to compress. Now what's happened here is I have now just cashed in all of my speed, and we're sitting at 350 kilometers an hour. DeWinds is up at 425, and we actually retained a lot more speed than he did initially, but he's dropped it now. And I did take a shot there in that pass. It wasn't quite as close as it looked like it was from my view at the time. But now we are just going to be able to kind of slot in behind him. And the Draken just doesn't care. I mean, look at that. We are still going to pull down in front of him. We are going substantially faster than he is, I believe. Yeah, 290, 300 kilometers an hour to about 375, 380 kilometers an hour in this dive. So the Draken... Thank God for the MiG-21bis having the engine power advantage over the Draken, and you wouldn't even believe that to look at this, but the MiG-21bis has a much higher thrust to weight ratio than the Draken does, and it's just doing him no good. He's trying to air brake right here just to stay on my 6, and he is going to manage to right here, but look at that. I'm almost playing with my food here because the Draken just, it doesn't care. It just does not care. We've come down in front of him, and I've got so much of a speed advantage here because he's trying to air brake me that if he hadn't air braked, this wouldn't have even been a threat. If he hadn't have been air braking, he's trying to do it to stay on my 6, because that is the only way. He needs to glue himself behind me and force a 2-circle or a rate fight. And that is the only way he's going to be able to catch me, and he will catch me in that eventually. The Draken does not like those low speed rolling maneuvers. But here, there was no chance for him. As we came around that circle, I've just been able to slam the brakes on, use this whole aircraft as an air brake, and able to very easily put shots on in that pass. And this is just kind of what the Draken does. It likes when aircraft try to force these fights that it can win quickly. And they are quick fights in the Draken because you very, very quickly force an enemy to lose all of their speed, and they will, and you will too, but as long as you can put those shots on early, that won't even be a threat. So for those of you who are going to say, and I know there's going to be people saying it in the comments, that DeWinds should not have been air braking and should have continued that speed forward, I may have actually had him in that pass if he had. Oh wow, look at that angle of attack I've just pulled. But that's what we have these for. We have these 4 RB-24J missiles, which are actually quite capable. And they kind of, what they more do is they're not going to hit like they do in a proper Fox 2 dogfight. Like you might see in DCS with AIM-9Ms and even AIM-9Xs and R-73s and such. But what they do is keep the fight close, and keeping it close is exactly what the Draken wants, because it means the MiG-21bis kind of can't put its engine power advantage to work in most situations. There are still options for it, but this was definitely not one of them. Little replay bug going on here. By the way, if we've been focusing on him and you see his afterburner is off and his engine is displayed as dead, that is a replay bug that hopefully will be fixed soon. But what these missiles do for me is mean that I am not even remotely threatened by losing speed compared to him, and we're actually faster than him now just because we're able to straighten out this turn whilst he is pulling very, very hard to try and get underneath me. But because I'm not even threatened by losing speed, I can pull these really, really tight turns. Now that we've brought the fight down to the deck and down to low airspeeds, I can pull the tightest turns I want and just put myself very, very easily into a killing position, and there was very little DeWinds could do about it in that particular regard. We did play a couple of rounds where DeWinds did actually manage to win, and he did that by using altitude, but that only works in specific scenarios where I can't just pull the nose up onto him and put a missile on target. You kind of have to have the perfect opening to a fight for that to even be an option. And here, when we forced that initial turn downwards, that just didn't happen. So DeWinds really had no option in this fight. And that is just, like I said, what the Draken does. It does not take any prisoners, and as you see with these turns it's pulling, it is ruthless in the way it just slots onto your 6 and then you're never shaking it. Alright guys, well that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and that if you did, you're going to leave a like and subscribe. And make sure to check out our new Armorcast channel, where my Koala Explained series on real life military history and technology is going to be taking over from now. We actually got our first video up the other day. The last thing I want to say before we finish this video is that we are very soon going to be hosting a custom battle event where we are going to be reenacting Operation Bolo from the Vietnam War for a video. So if you want to be involved in that, there is a lot more information on my Discord, so join the Discord at the link below and check out the events channel there when you join in. And if you want to be part of our Operation Bolo reenactment for a collaborative video I'm actually doing, so this will be quite an interesting one. So anyway, that's all for today. Until next time, please remember, keep a whiskey to hand, keep your kilt on, and I will catch you lads on the battlefield. Yeah, I'm not quite low speed enough yet to use the thrust vectoring. Oof. Now I can do it. Now I can do it. Oh, no, okay, no. Come on. Just keep it fucking inverted. Oh yes, go around him. Yes!